Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a quick story time in regards to vehicle extended warranty contract companies. And I've been hit by the bug in regards to one of my legendary cars, the Q50, that unfortunately the engine mainly has passed away. May she rest in peace. And, I have like a little bit of issues with one of those companies that I do want to actually just give you some quick game on in regards to this whole entire situation and to actually learn from my mistakes when actually researching on extended warranty car companies. And I definitely want to try and get all that all out literally within a 10-minute window. So y'all bear with me here. You see examples of these vehicle service contract companies or extended car warranty contracts, in other words. Basically, these are examples that you may see, definitely the most markedly publicized. Endurance, CarShield, basically the most known that's up in the TV streets. A classic moral of the story that I do want to definitely discuss with you guys is to please discuss and thoroughly do your due diligence when dealing with these companies, because again, they are insurance companies, and any form of insurance company, whether it's like an extended warranty company, whether it's like an accidental insurance company, life insurance company. And I know life insurance companies definitely operate from the rest of other forms of insurance like car insurance, boat insurance, ticket insurance, however it may be, which they're designed to actually try and give you recouped. Because, again, they have very different thresholds. They have very different mindsets. They have very different layouts on how they mainly form. But a lot of these extended car warranties, and I forgot to actually bring up health insurance as well. Forgive me on that. A lot of them, and especially with a lot of health insurance as well, and I know they definitely play at your life in regards to these things. It's a risk when you're dealing with extended car warranty contracts. And I'm going to tell you why. Extended car warranty contracts. I would not say that they are a scam, but they are extremely risky, especially when it comes to your car and the type of engine and transmission that your car mainly runs on, and how that engine and transmission mainly operates, depending on your type of vehicle. In some cases, it could be a benefit or it could be a risk. Many of these vehicle service contract companies are in the game to make boatloads of money and to make maximum profits, and a lot of them have the intent to deny as many claims as possible, giving you the relief, denying you the relief that you need just to extend your car's lifespan, right? And you're fortunately left to actually pay thousands upon thousands of dollars as if you're literally paying a new car note. A lot of these VAC companies don't thoroughly care to know much about how your engine operates when it comes to your car. And in some cases, they will actually try and make some offers actually just replacing certain parts of the engine. But when it comes to certain damages, they are just not willing to actually replace the whole engine altogether. Take me, for instance. A couple months ago, when I was driving my Q50, around the early wintertime, I noticed that the car wasn't blowing hot air as normally as it used to. And I thought maybe it was like a sort of a normal thing. Maybe I had to try and put more coolant in. I didn't know it was really that deep when it came with the engine. I never really knew that something may have cracked with the engine, unbeknownst to my knowledge. And basically, I wanted to actually wait until the next service date on when I could service my car so I could definitely let them know about it, which was a slight mistake on me. I didn't really notice it at the time. I took the car in for service last April for routine maintenance. I took it into Pep Boys first to see what was going on, and they saw that the engine was definitely overheating. So I took it into the Infinity dealer mainly down the road up by Ramsey, New Jersey. And I had a Pep Boys up in the Ramsey, New Jersey area. Shout out to them. And shout out to Ramsey Infinity, by the way, as well, for actually helping me taking care of this crazy situation. Also, they are literally lifesavers. Now, getting back to what happened last April, they put some dye to investigate while putting some coolant to see how well the engine would run. And
let it run for about 1,000 miles, see how it operates, to see if there's any damage, potential damage in the engine. And I'm thinking to myself, if they see any damage or any serious damage in it, they basically actually let me know that they need a full-on engine replacement. And an engine replacement on a Q50 with a dual twin turbo engine on like a 3.0 twin turbo is not cheap. You're talking about, if you do it with credit card or new engine parts and labor, you're talking about around $17,000, maybe a little bit tax, maybe a little bit over combined. And if they put it on a credit card, where you pay everything with 10% interest, you're talking about $19,000 to pay off over the next handful of years. That's literally like paying for a brand new car. Literally paying for like a brand new Toyota Corolla that you lease for 3 years. That's how crazy it is. That's literally how crazy it is. And who knows if the transmission goes well as well. And if you try and pay out of pocket, good luck with that. At that point, the car becomes a money pit. Within half hour later, on my way down to the gym, I basically applied for endurance and what I saw in the commercials, explained my situation, saw how many miles it was, and they ended up actually giving me covers that they felt was like the best package for me. Not fully understand the details, not thoroughly reading too much of the contract that I gave. I just actually just skimmed through some stuff. They're saying there were certain parts of the engine that they won't cover, and all these things that were there that I may not have been aware of that they have investigated. And I understand that they don't really basically cover pre-existing conditions with the car. And at the time, that was understandable until they did the thorough investigation. Moment of truth comes in. I go back to the dealer, trying to have them check the engine thoroughly. And with the dye, they found out that there was like some serious damage to the head gasket. And I told them I had the endurance claim, showed them the ID and everything. They called on to make a claim, and the service rep told me that endurance, my extended warranty contract, will find various ways to deny customers' claims. I'm not like, oh, wow, this is some crazy stuff. And lo and behold, I receive a call on my phone from my advisor saying that endurance does not cover head gaskets into my car. I then basically requested to see if they had to take out the engine, see if we could try and straighten our case for an appeal. The tech basically says no, because the work on actually tearing down the whole engine, rebuilding it, is a lot more work than putting in the engine itself, especially with a damaged head gasket. It would be a waste of money at that time. Contact Endurance, right? And I asked her what available plans she had that could cover head gaskets. Basically, rep says, we don't see any packages that could cover head gasket coverage for your engine. And at that point, I told them I want to cancel my contract, and I'm in the process of actually canceling my contract now. And they got reps literally trying to pull me and sway me back because they don't want him to leave me lead. Because what about your transmission? But I'm like, I was literally hell bent. I was literally stubborn and strong-willed, saying no, you're not going to do that to me at all. Y'all stay tuned for part 2, because it's literally going to be longer than 10 minutes based on all the chaos that you see with these VSC contracts. Part 2 of be wary of extended car and car warranty companies. Now, while the dealers and the techs and Infinity were saying that the head gasket is basically the vital organ of the engine, right? Here's Endurance's reasoning as to why they didn't want to cover the head gasket for the Infinity. They felt that the head gasket would be a part of the engine that's basically like a supplemental figure, and they want to see something like a cylinder block or some cylinder head or some internal damage that may have can cause the engine to fail, that can trigger an approval for the engine to be replaced. But you won't even cover a head gasket, though, that's actually a vital part that actually can shut the whole engine down. So really, it's not really about Endurance actually doing a thorough due diligence on engines and cars. Now, in some cases with some customers, they do get lucky with Endurance, and they get the engine right away whenever, an engine fails for whatever reason. Head gaskets, it depends on if they cover head gaskets on a particular model or make, or if they actually cover certain engine parts
are actually damaged and need to be fixed. A lot of cases, they may cover parts of engine that needs to be replaced, or when it comes to extreme cylinder blocks, unlike basically like cylinder block failures that may force them to actually try and deal with a free engine replacement. But when it comes to Infinities, when it comes to the luxury cars, you're dealing with a higher risk with them. But they'll gladly welcome it because, again, they're here to take the customer's money and they're here to make as much profit as possible. Look at how the current Endurance CEO is living with millions upon millions of dollars in his bank account. You know what I'm saying? Literally living life, while like much of his team and much of his team under his leadership is literally trying to deny as many claims as possible to his customers whenever their car is in dire straits. And I've been hearing many complaints from the actual tow truck driver that towed my car all the way back up to the house. They've been having many complaints, many horror stories in regards to Endurance. And I've been watching other videos in regards to the Endurance situation where they said that Endurance was mainly a shoddy company and an iffy company that is definitely at risk. They say it's like they may feel it's a scam. I can fully understand why a lot of people that actually used to having their say back pocket and have put hundreds upon hundreds of dollars monthly, and they in it for like 1-2 years just to make sure everything is straight. And whenever like a failure comes in, all of a sudden they let them down. I understand their pain. You got people's livelihoods mainly at risk. You got people's families at risk whenever they're trying to commute to a job or whenever they actually tied on funds. I understand the pain. I understand the complexities of actually dealing with new car searching and mileage limitations on leases, find a used car that's definitely right so that it doesn't get broken down the moment that you get out the lot. It's not easy. It's brutal. And you got this other CEO here that's actually just dropping millions upon millions, making it misery while, dealing with the crazy car process, actually trying to make sure you take care of the car as long as you can. Do not, do not, do not waste your time dealing with extended incident car warranty companies unless your warranties have expired from the dealer and from the manufacturer that's dealing with the car. That includes the original warranty as well as the extended warranty. All right, I definitely want to let you know in regards with that. Okay, once that extended warranty is gone, you're on your own, and then you gotta worry about the extended car warranty that could definitely fit your specific car, and definitely do your thorough due diligence as much as you can, even whenever they try and kind of basically get like specific details when it comes to those contracts. Make sure they have those things definitely in writing. Make sure they have those things definitely somewhere online so that you'll be able to actually try to focus on them before you make a decision and actually trying to join Endurance. Because a lot of times when insurances will do, and then like the VSC companies would do, is they will try to lure you in. They'll try to sell you on a dream on actually trying to extend your car. They'll have a little guy and servicer to try and make sure everything gets done. But once you in a program, you got that 30-day grace. Basically, they'll give you specific specific regulations on what they will cover and what they won't cover. Given your car's make and model, okay? You got to be dealing with these things. Try to make sure you thoroughly do your due diligence and thoroughly read the contract and see if you're able to actually have that dealer or a mechanic thoroughly examine your vehicle and thoroughly examine your engine and transmission and thoroughly view that contract as well to see if those contracts are covered if in case one of those parts fails. And if you don't see any vital part that's actually covered under that warranty, bolt and cancel your agreement. Okay? It is a waste of time. You're dealing with a money pit at that point. And there's no guarantee that they'll be able to cover you, even though there's no guarantee that they'll cover you after you put in hundreds upon hundreds of dollars a month, trying to make sure you get that secure coverage in many cases. Now, those reps will tell you and they'll try to do their very best to actually sway you not to leave them, and some will literally try and act a fool and literally crash out. Stay firm, stay professional, stay stubborn, okay? And if they actually try and offer you saying, hey, any new car you buy, especially if it's the newest model, you can definitely transfer it with the extended warranty, cancel it anyway. because all you're doing, you're wasting more money that you could easily put down when it comes to either the lease payment or the finance payment to help pay off your car as quickly as possible. Only consider extended car warranties if all of the manufacturer car warranties expire. And I also would like to actually say this before I head out, okay? A car can last forever. However, no car part can ever last forever. And it can break down at any given moment when you least expect it. So if you're dealing with a situation that an engine broke down, a transmission completely broke down, and you're facing like $17,000, $18,000 in debt, so you just actually take the actual repair, you know, understand it's not your fault. You know, the engine has actually gave way, and I understand it's definitely okay to mourn at that very point. It's not your fault at all. Things like this can happen at any given point. All you have to do is try to come up with a strategy and definitely try to move forward on what your next move will be. Preferably, it's best that you're able to actually sell a car as a junk car for either cash or direct deposit if possible, and try and do as much research as you can on that. And then focus on getting a new car with a good down payment. Otherwise, you could be dealing with a money pit where much of that money is going to be paying monthly payments on hundreds upon hundreds of dollars a month over the next handful of years, while trying to actually try and pay back off of loans while again replaces on your transmission or on your engine. Now, if you're a mechanic and you're making lots of money, that's different because you're able to actually pay it outright. But for the average Joe like myself or somebody that's white collar that's outside the auto mechanic world, it could be much, much more difficult unless you got certain leads that's willing to actually help you actually repair the car and replace the engine for free. Now I understand why many people have been complaining about VSC companies because they felt they've done them dirty. And as sad as it is and what I'm about to say, and you wonder why many of these Luigi Mania oilings mainly form over stuff like this, you wonder why. Not to say that I fully agree with it, because I clearly don't. I think it's idiotic. However, I fully understand. And as it comes to corporate greed, insurance greed, making maximum profits, as many denials as possible while actually trying to make sure you get little approvals as you can, just to try and make sure you hit your bottom line, which is sin and a shame. It's a shame that you're doing the best you can to actually try and pay off as much of that car note as you can, just to make sure that you're able to actually pay it off completely. And it's basically like a very strong strategy to do. I understand why people don't want new cars whenever they got like a big high-end cylinder that they still have to pay off from the last car. I get that. I understand why intended car warranties are in play for this. You know what I'm saying? But also understand the risks that actually come along when dealing with these types of VSC companies.